Welcome to this week's episode of The Irish at Home and Abroad and our Wild Mayo special. I'm Henry McGlade, and as you can see, I've just landed in Ireland West Airport now. Over the next couple of weeks, I'll be visiting some of Mayo's iconic sites and seeing some of the beauty of the county. But first I'm going to chat with Donald Healy, the marketing manager for the airport, to find out how they connect tourists with the county.
We opened officially in 1986. That year the airport had just over 9,000 passengers pass through the facility. So you flash forward 31 years later, 2017, we fly to 24 international destinations, and we have plans hopefully to reach the milestone of 1 million passengers in the next 5 or 6 years. Every year the airport will put through about close to 300,000 inbound visitors to the region, of which are about 100,000 tourists will come to see the Wild Atlantic Way. They'll visit Galway, Mayo, Roscommon, Leitrim, Donegal and Sligo. So from that perspective the airport is centrally located. In fact, we're the gateway to 9 of the signature discovery points on the Wild Atlantic Way. So we would really see ourselves as being the western gateway to the Wild Atlantic Way.
What a glorious day. Now I've got to sort out my transport.
Henry, welcome to Mayo.
Thank you. This is Tom O'Connor, my driver for the next few days, and what a way to see the county in spectacular style.
Now, it's going to be a bit breezy, so I'll give you this to keep the breeze off.
Lovely. We're going in style. Where are we off to, Tom?
I think we'll head for Foxford, the Foxford Woolen Mill.
Lovely. Oh. With Knock located in East Mayo, we begin our journey by heading northwest to the town of Foxford. Along the way, Tom had some interesting facts about the area and has arranged for me to meet local woman Jean Beattie to find out more.
Hi Henry, nice to meet you.
We'll have a chat. Lovely to meet you, Jean. This is an
And you,
absolutely fabulous promenade right on the banks of the River Moore.
Yes, isn't it wonderful? It's a great resource for Foxford, and of course it's in honour of Admiral Brown, who was born here in Foxford a long time ago and ended up being largely responsible for Argentina and other countries as well in South America getting their independence way back in the 18th century. And it's super. The shape of it suggests a ship, and in the winter time when the water level is high in the Moy here beside us, it comes right up to the banks and along the railings, and you really get the feeling that you're on a water course and heading somewhere exciting.
And the fishing as well, people go fishing here?
Oh yes. Moy is famous for its fishing, and Foxford and all along this stretch of the Moy is world famous for its salmon fishing.
Now another attraction here, I understand, is the walks. There's a couple of loops.
There are quite a number of loop walks and linear trails in the Foxford area. The last number of years we've had a walking festival once a year. It's been at different times in the year on different occasions, and that attracts large numbers of people to come and walk and enjoy the area. And there are usually over 3 days, there are usually 6 walks at the festival.
And I'm admiring the scarf you wear. That has a local connection as well.
It does indeed. This is a wonderful Foxford Woolen Mill scarf.
Beautiful.
And this is one of their new range that they've recently launched. This lovely powder blue. Foxford Woolen Mills is world famous, and they're wonderful in the area. They employ in or around 70 people you know, as a direct result of the woolen mills being here in the area. It's a fantastic resource again for Mayo, and it tells the Foxford story. The brand advertises the community and the area wonderfully well internationally, and this is doing a great job today. The visitor centre at the mill itself tells the story of the mill, 120 years plus now at this stage. And again, in its day, created fantastic and much needed employment when there was huge poverty in the area.
So what else does Foxford have to offer?
Foxford has lots to offer. It's set in the rich valley, the Moy Valley region. It's got the fishing we've already talked about. It's got the Admiral Brown Centre, which is a museum that celebrates Admiral Brown's life. There's the lakes nearby. You have pontoon lakes right beside us, on the Callow Lakes as well in the area. It's a very scenic area. You have Neffin Mountain just in Lahardon, which is very nearby. You've got so much you can do from Foxford as a centre. It's just great.
Well, lovely to meet you, Jean, and thanks for all that valuable information about Foxford.
And you, Henry, and enjoy your visit with us.
Our next destination is a short trip north to Ballina Town, another area famous for its salmon fishing the world over and has its very own salmon festival every year. Tom has decided that I should check out some local whisky and has arranged for me to meet David Stapleton, the co-owner of the Connacht Whisky Company, and hopefully I'll get a chance to do a little tasting.
Henry, welcome to the Connacht Whisky Company.
Nice
Come
to
on
be
in.
here.
Come on in. No.
Wow, fantastic setup here.
Welcome to the Visitor Centre. The Connacht Whisky Company was formed in August of 2013, and really it was more a function of coincidence than consequence. My American cousin PJ Stapleton was over on holidays, and after golf in Connemara Golf Club, whisky became the topic of conversation. And with that, we kind of said there was an obvious appetite for whisky in America, and the last independent distillery in Ireland had just been sold. So with that, we decided that we would investigate the project a little bit further, and it's gone from there to here. We have a range of products. Obviously, as a startup, our whisky hasn't matured fully to an Irish whisky stage yet. We need a minimum of 3 years and 1 day to comply with the Irish whisky technical rules. But what we have is we have a Strawboys Irish vodka, we're very proud of, and we have a Strawboys Poitín, which is basically a single malt unaged whisky. We have our Concullen gin, which is named after Lough Conn and Lough Cullen. And then on top of that, we have two other whisky products. Both are, one is a 10-year-old single malt, not our own, but one that we've managed to acquire and that our distillers like. And another whisky, which is called our Brothership whisky, which is a beautiful mix of an American rye and a single malt Irish whisky. We're in a very unique environment. We're the first distillery in County Mayo for over 150 years. So what we have is we have a beautiful environment. It's maritime, it's low humidity. We have a little salty air coming from the Moy estuary. You know, we have a unique set of stills, the only ones in the country of their type. We have a unique mash bill in terms of the barleys that we use. So we have a lot of uniqueness, and we're hoping that while we can't predict what the future may hold, we're very confident that all of the sum of those particular parts coming together will yield a fantastic whisky. The whole manufacturing distillation process happens under one roof. Part of the story of Irish whisky for us is that these are our stills designed by our master distiller, and will create a whisky that we think will be, give us provenance for Mayo and also give us a little bit of a unique selling point.
Well, I think the next step will be...
Come on, we better try some.
We'll try some
Right,
of this. We've heard so much about them now. We have to try some.
We better try
All right,
some.
okay.
So I'm going to leave that to Lindsay.
Right.
So she's far more expert in this than I am.
All right.
So when you're nosing a spirit, it's not like nosing a wine. You don't want to stick your whole nose in there. You want to keep your nose back slightly And as you're breathing through the nose, open your mouth and you can almost taste it. So if you're ready, we can have a little taste. So sláinte. So again, sláinte.
I want sláinte. Just cheers. They're all jealous now. Absolutely fantastic. Lindsay, thank you
You're
very much.
welcome. You're very welcome.
Beautiful, fantastic.
Hope you enjoyed that.
I certainly did. Might be hard to get me on that. Just sit down and chat for the afternoon. Well, I really enjoyed that, Tom. I tell you, fantastic menu. And I got the taste of whiskey as well.
You sampled
I sampled the
some
whiskey.
of the brew.
Thankfully you're driving, not me.
Good.
Okay, where are we off to next?
Well, I think we'll head for Ballycastle, Downpatrick Head, the beautiful part of North Mayo. Absolutely beautiful scenery down
Okay,
there.
how far is it about?
About half an hour's drive.
Okay. Well, it's time for us to take a short break. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll continue our journey around Wild Mayo. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Folks, you're very welcome back to part 2 of the Irish at Home and Abroad and our Wild Mayo special. Myself and my driver, Tom O'Connor, are now making our way to Downpatrick Head on the north coast of the county.
So now, Henry, here we are, Downpatrick Head.
Absolutely fantastic. You couldn't have got us any closer to the actual head
exactly,
here. We'd be
yeah.
over the cliff.
Yeah.
It's absolutely an amazing place. As an added bonus, Tom has arranged for me to meet Donald McCormack, who has written a book about the area.
The main thing that draws people here probably is Doonbristja, the sea stack that's standing off the end of the head here. It's so spectacular, and the fact that there's human remains of buildings on top of it is what really is mind-boggling.
Yeah, because at one stage was part of the mainland.
It had to be, and the Annals of the Four Masters, they wrote a history back in the 1393. They record that a rock bridge joining, we assume, Doonbristja to the mainland fell in. There's a lovely story about St. Patrick that when he was on the head preaching, Crumduff, the pagan who was living out at the end of the head, was harassing him, and he had St. Patrick driven around the bend, and one night he couldn't stand it any longer, and he got down on his knees and he prayed that there would be a marring, a division put between himself and Crumduff. And the next morning the rock bridge had fallen in and Crumduff was stranded out on the stack. And the story is then that Crumduff converted to Christianity when he saw.
It's a nice story. I like it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to believe
Yes.
it. You've written extensively about Downpatrick, and you've a new book out called The Road to Downpatrick.
Yes.
Yeah, and with stunning photographs and stories about the whole, because there's a massive history.
Well, it's stories that I heard as a small boy. I'm 88 now, and
Wow.
I remember as a kid hearing
All the
these stories being
yes.
told.
Oh, it's a great guide for any tourist that wants to check out the area, isn't
Yeah,
it?
the local shops in Killala
Yes.
and Ballycastle have it, and also Eason's in Ballina.
And it's available online.
It is on Amazon. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
thank you very much for taking time out to join us. And I've really been fascinated and enjoyed it. We got a beautiful day and the scenery spectacular.
It is, yes, and something, you know, people have talked to me about the Cliffs of Moher, and they've come here.
Oh yeah, sure.
And I don't want to run down the
No,
cliffs.
but this is
but they
equally
said
as good.
this,
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Though I couldn't say that, but I'm glad you said it. Carmela Morgan. So we left Downpatrick Head and continued our journey. Along the way, we pulled over at the Cage of Fields Visitor Centre, which Tom informed me is one of the oldest farm settlements in existence, dating back over 5,000 years, making it older than the pyramids in Egypt. We then continued along the beautiful North Mayo coast to our next destination at Carrowtag. This is absolutely amazing place, isn't it?
It's absolutely beautiful. Kilgalligan, Carrowtag, that's Mullet Peninsula over there, Arrow's Head.
It's so peaceful and quiet.
Absolutely,
isn't
it is, absolutely.
It's like being in another world.
Yeah. So serene and peaceful.
Yeah. We've run out of road as well. Where next stop is
New York. yes.
because we can't go any further. We'll have to go by sea then. We've run out. This is the
take
end of the
boat,
line here.
Yeah, the end of the
We're on the
road.
edge of the world.
Yeah.
It looks like we've got company. I thought we were the only ones
no,
here.
No, not quite. There are more.
Céad fáilte go.
Go meet them off. Tá áirt go hálan. Cin Alan?
An sin mar graith armsa.
Agus tú féin?
Is me sé trasig go fáilte.
Come on, I got that. Henry. So it turns out our fellow visitors are local historians, Trasa Nigara and Unshin McGrath, and they've kindly agreed to tell me a bit more about the area. Unshin, a very familiar sight behind us here. I've seen it on many a picture postcard.
Indeed you have. They're the Starkey or the Stags of Broadhaven. You're in the furthest northwest point in County Mayo at the moment. You have Broadhaven Bay to the south and the west of you here, and Donegal Bay to the northeast. The next stop is Newfoundland.
So we can see that when we arrived by car, we ran out of road.
Yes, indeed.
The cliffs behind us as well.
The cliffs, they're some of the rocks of the oldest rocks in Britain and Ireland. They are akin to the rock type in the Hebrides. They're predominantly Dalradian quartzite. It comes in through North Donegal, in through and hits Mayo at Belderrig. And from Belderrig you have it coming all the way to Kilgalligan here, Kilgalligan as we call it in Scalia, and it's 600 million years old.
Wow.
It's mostly quartzite with outcrops of shale, schists and gneisses. And the Stags of Broadhaven that we spoke about earlier are 1.6 billion years old, part of the North American coastline that was left behind on the same plate as we're travelling on 60 billion years ago, when the continent of Europe and the continent of the United States broke away.
Tracey, this has to be a walker's paradise. You've been involved in the whole development of the walks here.
We have. There are two main walks, the Children of Lear Walk and the Binwee Head. And both walks go along the cliff, so you're taking in spectacular scenery. And there's an old black ditch, you can see it there. It runs right along the cliff, practically parallel. So it's a great handrail for walkers. One of the walks is 10 kilometres, the Children of Lear, and the Binwee Head is 12 and a half. So really there's a walk to suit every ability. And there's the main habitat here, of course, is the blanket bog. So that's a very unique habitat, not alone in Ireland but in Europe. And it supports its very own flora and fauna. For example, if you look around here, you'll see the beautiful purple heather this time of year and the ling. And it also, earlier on in the year then, it's dotted with bog cotton. So, and then it supports species of plants that you won't get anywhere else. So it really is beautiful, no matter what time of year you decide to walk it. The walks are waymarked as well from start to finish, so people can pick up the guides.
All information.
Yeah, in the Shanskill Community Centre, and they can then follow the waymarkers. So that's a great guideline for people who are coming in to walk.
After my chat with Unshin and Trasa, myself and Tom turned our journey south towards Belmullet. After a while we found ourselves driving along a beach, and believe it or not, this is the main road to Ireland's newest island, Claggan Island, where I'm going to meet Lawrence Howard, whose family have been associated with the island for over 5 generations.
My dad's grandfather
bought it, our great-grandfather bought it for his son and put him in here, and over the years it's been handed down to one son or another, and finally I'm going to be fifth, and we've 3 boys, and hopefully one of them will be the 6th at some stage.
Yeah, you're like the High Kings of Cleggan Island.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. There's no monarch out here, but we definitely enjoy where we live and the surrounding area. We feel blessed to live in an area like this.
Yeah, it was declared an island in 1991.
That's correct.
So what was before that?
We were joined to the mainland by a causeway, which was what you see today. Back then it was completely taken off. All the green area that connects us was completely wiped out in a storm in January 91. So over the years, with a bit of investment and a bit of work on that, it has regained and regrown. So we're making headway again. We're starting to become attached again, if you will, and hopefully over the years we'll get a bit stronger, and the causeway will reconnect us on a more permanent basis.
Now, you've developed the island into a holiday destination. It's still very much a very kept secret, isn't it?
Yeah, we're little known at the moment, but we're working hard to get out there. We've the glamping pods and the self-catering accommodation in the old Coast Guard station that we restored. So we're definitely getting recognised, and slowly but surely we're getting a foothold in the market.
So if I decide to come here for a couple of days, what can I look forward to?
I suppose the main thing is the views, the peace and quiet. You're pretty much out here at one with nature. We're not overpopulated. The island has a population of 10 people, and even when all our guests are in, we're still only adding another maybe 10 to 12 people to it. So you have 150 acres divided between maybe 20 odd people, so it's sparsely populated. You have miles and miles of beaches, cliff walks to the west, and a lot of wildlife, seals, otters, different varieties of birds to see.
And how do people get in touch with you, Lawrence?
Our main source is through the internet, of course. We have our own website, and
what's it called?
belmulletcgs.com.
Right.
And both the pods and the house are listed on that. And that's our main one. Of course, now with social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we work hard at all them, plugging and trying to get noticed, and it's working. It's definitely working.
So the future of the Howard family on Cleggan Island looks good.
It looks good at the moment, yes. Hopefully one of three boys may decide that it's not a bad place to live and decide to stay here.
How could it be a beautiful day like today? Absolutely
exactly,
amazing.
yeah. Hopefully.
Lovely to talk to you. Thanks
very much.
All right,
Okay.
well done, Lawrence. So that's it for Tom and myself this week. Join us again next week at the same time for the second part of our Wild Mayo special. Now don't forget, after the break we're crossing over to Manchester as usual to join Martin Logan, who's out and about with the Irish community in the UK. So until next week at the same time, slán go fóill.